Why, hello, my friends, and welcome back to another episode of Eggwars. Glad to see you. You're looking beautiful. Oh, you must be doing something new with the hair. Have you lost weight? You're looking great. I love you, okay? And a shout out to everybody who's watching. Everybody, I appreciate every single one of you so much every single day that you tune in. Even if you don't actually watch it and you just stop in for like 5 seconds and smash that motherfucking like button, you know, anything and everything that you contribute of the viewership and the appreciation of me, I want to give it back to all of you. So much love. I could not do this without you. Please remember that. Okay. Couple things today. First off, I'm economical now. I'm economical and I'm efficient. And how is that, you might ask? Well, you see this sip here. You see this purple sip. Take a good look at the purple sip. Yes, I received a 24-pack case of these to my doorstep today, courtesy of Amazon.com. For the low price of like $31 for a 24-pack. That's economically sound. And I just made this decision to do this. I ordered this last week, right? Because I'm like, well, my foot's broken still. Hopefully I'll be healed within the next couple weeks now, or I got my x-ray checkup coming up. So I'm like, okay, well, you know, hopefully I can go get my own sips soon, but hey, you know, this is a good price. Purple sips, you know, it comes to the door. I don't gotta try and, you know, ask my neighbor or my aunt or my cousin or somebody to go get some for me, you know, and waste their time. So I'm like, let's just do it. So I ordered this, and I ordered it, and suddenly, now, as soon as I ordered it, I got it. But now, like, you have to be an Amazon Prime member to get this flavor. You can get some other flavors, but for whatever reason, you gotta be a Prime member, which I'm not, to get this flavor. So I feel pretty exclusive, and that's cool. And we got sips for days, buddy, for days. So I'm gonna crack this here real quick, like, because I got more stuff to talk about before I get to the stories today. This is a good flavor, man. It's good. It's like got a grape Kool-Aid, grape soda type flavor going on. I don't know, it's some good stuff. Alright. So, as you may have noticed, the subscriber count on my channel is very close to 4,000 subscribers. It's very, very near. And, you know, I'm thinking to myself, the likely celebration that we'll be having for this is, you know, I'll be able to stream again soon. And so I'm thinking birthday / 4K celebration stream, maybe a 24-hour stream. Now, if you were around for the 3,000 subscriber special, holy shit, what a shit show that was. My attempt at a 24-hour stream, it turned out to be about 21 and a half hours. I was fucking dying. I was keeling over. I took like 10 million caffeine pills, and I was like having a fucking heart attack and just like, It was bad. It was very, very bad. Although I did then, like a week or two later or so, something like that, I did eventually complete a 24-hour stream and did a little bit extra as like an hour, or, you know, I had like 10 minutes extra. You could see the elapsed time, 1 day and some minutes. So that was pretty cool. But maybe we'll do something like that. I don't know, man. We're gonna figure something out, but it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be cool. So that's it's gonna be cool. Although the point I was also going to make is that recently I saw the new Sam Hyde and Team Sesh collaborative merchandise. Also, Sam Hyde's, I should say, the $1 Million Extreme Twitter was suspended today, which is a great loss. You know, just the fact that that's suspended, it's very heartbreaking. It might actually push me to maybe finally get on Instagram. People have asked me to go on Instagram now for so long, and just like Twitter, I had like 3 or 4 Twitter accounts until, you know, I have the one I've had now for a couple of years. But, you know, I would make one and be like, wow, I don't even know anything about this. I don't know anything about this. Why use it? And Instagram, I've just continued to be the same way. I'm like, I don't do anything, you know. But I guess maybe I'll decide to do that. I'm probably gonna. I've had a Gab account now since last year, but it is not under anything that anyone would recognize me by. Because back then I was thinking, this was like, you know, when I was kind of in my hiatus, I wasn't sure if I was going to do Eggman still. I was like, I just don't know. I was kind of, so I had this Gab account. It has a bunch of followers because I was like one of the first people to sign up for it. So I don't even know, but I don't know. I'm playing it by ear. But anyway, so the Sam Hyde merchandise, the Sam Hyde bomb strap Team Sesh merchandise came out. And I was thinking to myself, you know what? I've toyed with the idea of merchandise before. But I'm like, gosh, I just don't know. You know, I just never really knew. But the thing is that because of Eggwars and how much of it I've put out now and the generally positive reception to me doing Eggwars, I'm like, well, shit, you know what? Maybe 4,000 subs, maybe we'll do like a one-time run. I actually have to go and submit this rough draft of my design to the guy who I'm commissioning to do the artwork for the shirt, because I have it in mind. It's going to have like an Eggwars flavor to it, but at the same time, it's going to also sort of be based around like myself and like strength and determination, and then you'll kind of see how it comes together with some good aesthetic. I got this idea, and it's going to be kind of cool. It's going to be like a tough, I want something that you feel like you'll feel good to wear. It'll make you feel kind of pumped up and like you're going to face the day and kick some ass. And I know maybe coming from me that sounds a little bit silly, but that's just my idea, and that's going to be something that I got on the brain. And so we'll keep that. It's going to be something, all right? So we'll keep that in the memory sphere for now, and that might be coming up soon-ish, maybe. Maybe for the holiday season, if you know somebody in your life who watches my videos, which you probably don't, except for yourself. But hey, you know what? One of these days, we're going to keep on flexing up. Ooh, 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 bling, bling, bling. Okay. So today's topic, Review Bra, my beloved Review Bra, he put out a video, I think it was yesterday now, where he talked about when he gets recognized. And I thought to myself, as I often do, I thought to myself and I said, I just don't know what I want to make a video about. I actually made another one of these edited videos earlier, but I don't know. I re-edited it like over and over again for like 2 hours. I just kept on re-rendering, because it's only like a minute long. So I kept on like re-rendering it with different things, trying to see how I felt about it. And I was like, gosh, I just don't know. What do I want to do? What do I want to do? But that's a pretty good topic, actually. And it actually kind of ties into me pretty well because, going back to my earlier 4chan stint, when I was coming out and being a disgusting attention-whoring trip fag, I often would, talk to people and be like, oh, hey, email me. I want to talk. I was really just a very lonely person. I was spending all my time alone. And, I ended up finding my way into 4chan Skype groups and Tiny Chat and all that different stuff in time. But, I just always wanted to talk to people. I wanted to hang out with people. I wanted to meet people. That's kind of how I got into the whole thing that I got into, was because of that chick who I met up with off R9K in the spring of 2014, as I mentioned before. But, so I can't remember. The only Eggwars I think I would have told this story about would have been the heroin one. And I really don't recall. I don't remember if I said it in this one or not. So just for the sake of the video, we're going to talk about a few different stories of me meeting up with some people or when I got recognized by people. And I think I am going to end up lifting a couple smidgens from maybe a couple Eggwars, depending. But let's just get into we'll start off with that first story, that first time that I was recognized, and then some subsequent ones. So the very first time I was ever recognized in public, in fact, I'm quite sure I've mentioned this before, but we'll just go into it anyway. So, yes, it was 2015, and it was early September of 2015, and I was in Toronto, Canada, and I was staying at the Westin Hotel in Toronto. And I had been there that weekend for the Fan Expo convention 2015, and, I was not wanting to go home. I wanted to extend my stay at the hotel. The Canadian money is worth less than American money, so it wasn't super expensive, really, when I took that into account. So I wanted to extend my stay. I wanted to see some more things. So it was like the first or second day, because I extended my stay for like pretty much a whole other week. It was like the first or second day that I extended my stay, and the female, I know there's a video out here, the one I uploaded on my channel, the, rare 2015 found video acting like an autist at Fan Expo, that's on my channel, where you hear a female talking, and this was a female who I'd interacted with at Fan Expo, and who I'd went there with, and I asked her, I said, well, what's the cool hip happening stuff around town, I want to go see some cool stuff to kind of, spend my day doing something that makes me feel fulfilled and interesting and all that stuff. And she said, well, there's a very popular market, the Kensington Market. It's really the hot place to go. It's got a bunch of Asian shops. It's got a bunch of different, all kinds of stuff. You should just go there. So I'm like, okay. So I get an Uber at the hotel. I hop in, and I go over to Kensington Market. And when I got there was just really a lot of different stuff. There was a lot of clothing. That was like a main big thing. There was some restaurants. There was one, I still have a picture of this somewhere. There was a place called like Egg Shop or something like that. And it was, I kind of ended up walking past it because it was after I'd already eaten and I just wasn't really interested, but I did take a picture of it at some point. So I went, and there was a thing that was called like Top Gun or something like that was in Kensington Market. I can't believe I could even remember that, but it was something of that sort. I think that's what it was, Top Gun restaurant there. And I ate there, and it was pretty good, and it was pretty comfy, and it was pretty nice and cool and chill. And I kind of walked around the market some more. I went, and I checked out, there was like a Rasta shop or something, and I was like, well, I don't really want to go there. And I walked past some Asian shops, and they kind of smelled like fishy, and they were selling clothes, and there was a lot of Chinese talking Chinese, and I was like, I don't know if that's really for me. But then, as I was walking, I saw a shop, and I believe, if I recall correctly, I know it was a coffee shop for sure, but I think it was a coffee and gelato shop, not a coffee and ice cream shop exactly. I mean, you could, semantics, but it was a coffee and gelato shop, I'm quite certain, if I recall. And I've not had gelato a huge amount of times in my life. The first time I ever had gelato was actually in Denver, over 10 years ago now, but I just remember I have some family in Colorado, and we were in Denver, and I just, saw this gelato, and I was like, ooh, it's like fancy foreign Italian ice cream. Now, nowadays, it's in your local freezer, but at the time, I just like, ooh, it's new, and every time I see a new food, whether it's good or not, I just like, oh, I gotta try it, I gotta know, because I just, I'm a fat motherfucker, I want to eat every goddamn thing that I could stuff my fucking greasy mouth around, So I knew I had fond memories of gelato, but gosh, I might have had it like one time in that 8-year span or that 9-year span. So I go, and I was like, all right, well, I'm getting there, and they had like a special deal where it was like, one scoop was this much, but it's, it was like better priced if you got more. I think you could have like 3 different ones to a dish maybe. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go for that. I want to try some different kinds. So I go in there, and I'm like, gosh, I think I want maybe that one and that one. And I can't remember which ones I chose, but I was sitting there and I was choosing the flavors that I wanted. And all of a sudden I hear, and this was before the Oregon situation. This was post Black Pill, to be fair. And I'm pretty sure that's probably where this attention that I was receiving from this gentleman came from, if I had to guess. I don't believe it was ever confirmed or denied by him. But anyway, I hear somebody say, whoa, are you Eggman? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, whoa, dude, no way. I didn't know you were Canadian. And I'm like, I'm not. I'm just up here. I'm chilling. And I feel like I had my ID out and I was like, no, actually I'm from Minnesota. I don't know why. I swear to God, I know that I did that at least once when I was in Canada. I can't remember if it was this situation or not, but there was, I do remember for sure when I was at Jack Astor's, the guy said some dumb shit to me, the bartender, because I went there like numerous times, and all of a sudden, like one night, like the bartender just fucking negged me, and I was like, oh, I showed him my ID Minnesota for some reason. I can't remember. That was last night I went there. We got in some kind of argument. It was stupid, and I ended up going to this other bar that was not as good. But shout out to Jack Astor's though in Toronto. That was still my jam for sure. I went there like 10 times. But yeah, this dude he's like, whoa, man, and we take a couple pictures together, and I know I still have the picture of myself. Fuck, I might just fuck around and put that one as the thumbnail for this. I had a thumbnail in mind for this episode already, but I think I'll dig that picture up of me sitting in the cafe and put that up as the thumbnail. Now, it's not the picture with the dude, but I will say this much. It was incredible to meet the guy, and we are still, I still have him added on Snapchat to this day, so as far as I know, he's doing pretty well. So shout out to my dude. I'll just say G. That's how I'll refer to him. I don't think I ever got his first name, but I just know his Snapchat name starts with G, so I'll just say, yo, G. It was real, and I still think of that on that memory very fondly because, I've always had such an affinity for, going into this whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, from the very beginning, it was, I'm not like Review Bra where where he kind of started and, he had sort of a concept and a theme for his videos and all that in mind. For me, it was pretty much just like I was just a lonely dude, lonely with problems and issues, and I kind of just rambled and vented and met some people, and made me feel a whole lot better to meet some people and get to know some people, so it's like people say sometimes they're like, man, you really talk about a lot of like personal stuff, and and sometimes that has not gone so well for me. Sometimes people have kind of maybe taken offense, or they've tried to maybe take advantage of a situation for that reason that I might be in. But at the end of the day, it was like for some person to just kind of come up and be like to shake my hand and say you're a nice guy and I appreciate what you do. That was like I mean, I don't know. I was really just heartwarming to me. So that will always hold a place in my heart for sure. And let me mix it up here a little bit now. Let's do something a little bit more on the current side of things. Well, shit, it's hard to even believe this now, because I've nearly been back on YouTube for a year now. But I'm going to talk about how I met pizza, at least to the best of my recollection. So, now, I still get people telling me about 4chan, R9K, and all that stuff, and I haven't really browsed it, in the last couple years, very, very sparingly. So I don't know a lot of the people who, are affiliated with that culture these days, the board and all that. So it was last year, and I believe it was pretty much when I started streaming again. It was because I started streaming again like the day before my birthday last year. I think that's when I came back. Because if you don't know about that story, I had basically decided that maybe it wasn't for me. I was kind of, I had suffered negative situations from being too involved with the internet. And so I was like, I was doing some different shit. I was working and all this stuff, but I was, God, what do I have in my fucking teeth on? I'm sorry. I don't know, man. Maybe it's from my surgery. Something's bothering me. In any case, essentially I'd become very lonely and very depressed, and I was even fatter than usual. I was sitting around doing a lot of drinking, and then I was just so lonely I decided, fuck it, I don't even care about the consequences. I'm going to try the internet stuff again, because I just don't have anybody in my day-to-day life, So I came back, and I believe pizza was on my streams pretty much off the jump. And when I came back last year, I was going to do like a whole new image. I was kind of coming back and reinventing myself in a different way from kind of like being like a fucking loser. Or, I don't want to talk down on myself or, I've gone through shit, So I wanted to it wasn't that I was trying to like put on a fake persona or anything, but I was just trying to basically, be going hard in an upward trajectory. So not trying to feel sorry for myself, just coming in and trying to be uplifting and all that stuff. So, back sometime, whenever it was, well, it had to have been pretty soon in December. I guess I don't remember, the dates are a little cloudy to me now, but I created this little thing that I was gonna do. I called it Eggy's Chicks. And I was like, hey babes, hey ladies, how you doing? I'm gonna, send me your pics and I'm gonna put them up. Because initially I was going to put them up on this wall where the green screen is actually, because I was going to do something like Eggwars actually is what I was going to do, but it was Ask Eggy was what it was before. And so instead of doing I was going to do Ask Eggy again, I had a table here before and everything, kind of, I have my shit on my desk now, but I just had a different setup in mind, and I was like, hey, these chicks send me pics, I'm going to put you up on the wall, you're going to be like my ladies, And it never really worked out that way, but what I did end up doing is I took their pictures and I used them as like stream girls, and then I had stream guys too, if for the dudes that were around. Then I still have a bunch of fucking selfies from guys that they sent in. But in any case, there were several chicks who sent in pics for Eggy's Chicks, and one of those people was Pizza, and Pizza was like one of the, because I had received several pictures, and then I had like Pizza's was like a week after the other ones. And Pizza was like, oh, I want to be on Eggy's Chicks. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, sure, yeah, that's fine, yeah. With the MDE book, I think. But anyways, we got talking a little bit, and, I was very, like, I didn't want to say anything about, where am I or what am I doing, because I was kind of like, I've tended to be targeted by people trying to fuck with me, so I'm like, well, I'm trying to kind of, be not really talking about stuff like that. But Pizza said something basically in an email that, like, I read that and I was like, oh, that sounds kind of like something that somebody who lives near-ish to me would say. And so I was kind of like a little bit like, oh, well, hey, what about this thing? And, kind of just like, oh, and then, through some very vague back and forth messages, I was finally like, okay, yeah, I'm pretty sure that you live close to me and you seem like a trustworthy enough individual. So, hey, let's go and, I think the first time, well, definitely like the first couple times we hung out, we pretty much just went and, just drove around, which was nice. We basically just went around and shot the shit. We went and like parked my vehicle, at a parking lot of a park or something and just kind of chilled and just talked. So that was pretty cool. And it went very pretty chill, and we definitely I wasn't really sure what to expect. It was unusual. It was kind of, I just come off of, basically being like totally, not going to talk to anybody, not going to like be out there, I'm going to try to just be very, cautious of, talking to people and saying, too much information because I don't want people to be fucking with me. But yeah, pretty much I just decided to take a leap of faith, and turns out we had a bunch in common. We just drove around, and then, we hung out a couple times just doing that, and then we went and we started getting breakfast together. We'd go and have a cup of coffee, just shooting the shit pretty much. And then, of course, that fateful day came, the time we streamed together then, which was still to this day like the most viewed stream I think I've ever done by a huge margin. People still watch that stream pretty frequently, and I still get asked about it quite a bit. So, it was it was an eventful occasion for sure. And, definitely, we went through a couple things, there was a lot of backlash about that. And I had to, I'll say it, I kind of thought to myself, because I was getting like a lot of angry messages. People are like just really hating on it. And I was like, Pizza's my good friend. And I gotta, I was kind of being a bitch about it and kind of ducking and dodging some of like the messages people were sending me. But I was like, nah, at the end of the day, I was like, I got to stand up for my friend. Pizza's my good friend. And it's just what it is. So people got a deal, and we're going to be good friends. And I'm very, very blessed to have such a good friend. So shout out to Pizza. We're making moves. We're going to be hitting that upward trajectory, no doubt. And then also, if you've watched the hour-long Eggwars I did about my experiences in California, I don't think maybe I must have. I know when I was making the video, it was mostly about the experiences that I had in California in the summertime, which I did get recognized by a good amount of people in the summertime. I got to meet up with a guy who I'd known for a good over 5 years on Steam, so that was fun. I ran into a random guy at a restaurant. We got a photo op, and we still talk on Snapchat pretty frequently. But back in March, that was the first time I was in California this year, and at the beginning of March. And I actually was staying in Los Angeles, but I just spontaneously, in the last couple days I was there, my Airbnb was, I was out of there, and I decided to just drive my vehicle to Isla Vista in Santa Barbara, just to go there. I was going to stay in my car, and I was like, I don't even care. I'm just going to do it. Screw it. So I went in, and I just took off in my vehicle, and I went there to Isla Vista. And the first night I was there, and I just went around. I walked around. I was just looking around, checking everything out. I made a couple of, the chicken tenders video I filmed there. The video that I was editing earlier that I do intend to put out, that has I filmed a decent amount of footage there, but it was just very, it was kind of, it didn't really have a whole lot of purpose. I was kind of just walking around and, doing this pretty much, just kind of filming stuff. So, I'm doing some stuff with that footage yet. It could serve me for a while yet, I'm sure, but so I did this. I basically just walked around the first day. I went and checked out a couple shops, just kind of saw some stuff. And then that night, then I was chilling in my rental car. And I hate this about rental cars because the vehicles that I've had that are just the vehicles that I've had, I've had salvage title vehicles and some fixer-uppers and stuff. like, they will charge my phone when the vehicle's off. Now, apparently this is not usual. This is not a typical thing, but every rental car that I've had has to be turned on to charge my car or to charge my phone. And the fact that I've had numerous times where I've been sleeping in rental cars, I really don't know, man. It's like, it would be cool if they could just not have to be on to charge my phone, because I wouldn't have to burn gas then when I'm going around and hoboing it up in a rental car. But I remember somebody sent me a link on Snapchat. I was pretty much leaving my phone at like a continuous 10% battery because it wasn't charging very good anyway, even when the rental car was on. And somebody sent me a link. They're like, oh, some guy said you're in Isla Vista. And so I opened it up, and it's from 4chan, and this guy's like, oh my god, I swear to god, I saw Eggman walking around Isla Vista today. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm like, I posted in that thread. I was like, oh yeah, I was there. And we had a couple back and forth messages. They said something about this coffee shop that they were at. And so I'm pretty sure I told this story in that Eggwars already, but essentially, long story short, the next day I'm up walking around again, greasy, brushing my teeth out of a water jug and all this shit. And that night, turns out there was an open mic at this coffee shop, which I hadn't even realized up until essentially the night that it was going on. But I was like, fuck it, dude, I'm gonna go to this open mic, and I'm gonna, there's people doing poetry, there's people doing music, there's people doing comedy. I'm just gonna go and tell the story about the Oregon situation. I was up there, I was talking about, I was just telling people, I was like, yeah, Google Toby Reynolds, Oregon, that's me. They said I killed a bunch of people, and you know what, I didn't do it, and I just was kind of just making a comical story out of the situation, and the group, at least the guy who had been posting on 4chan, I know this for a fact, I know this is absolutely true, he was there with a group of people at the coffee shop because the way that everything with their interaction with me was made it obvious that they knew who I was, so that was also very, very interesting. And then I can't remember if I told this one in the other California story or not, but also in March, I went out to a bar with Mackenzie Beckett, my good friend who is from California. And, if you don't know about her, you should go subscribe to her. She's also definitely, she's already been a superstar, had tens of millions of views on Vine or whatever. But she's still, she's definitely got those star qualities. And she's also going to be in Kickstarter TV too, with Sam Hyde, just like me, if you don't know. But we went to this bar, and she thought it was like this nerdy bar. Like last time she'd been there was like this nerdy bar, but we went there and it had turned into this kind of urban club, and so I was like the only white guy in the entire place, but I went in there and I was jamming, I was cranking my moves, I had a dance circle around me, I had African-American women shaking their badonkadonks upon me, as is typical of my excursions into ethnic clubs where I break it down and all that. But in any case, we were doing all that, and we ended up going outside. There was like a little seating area, went outside for some fresh air. And there was this guy he was like, man, I swear to God, I've seen you somewhere before, man. I just swear to God, man. I just know, man. Man, where are you from, man? What are you, man? I just know it. And I'm like, 4chan. I'm like, this has happened more than one time at this point where I'm just like, you go on 4chan at all? It's fucking weird, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's like, it's so weird to me. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. It's like, why? There's people who aren't 4chan users. God, I don't know. I feel fucking weird even saying this, man. I don't know. It feels so weird. It's like you're trying to explain like some shitty meme to somebody, but it's my life. You know what I mean? And like, people just posted my picture because it was like synonymous with total loss of hope and total despair. But in any case, yes, he had browsed R9K for like a few months of his life at some point. And he's like, oh man, yeah, people said, yeah, you're like that meme. Yeah, man. And this is a cool dude, Mr. Miller. He had been out, he was like a comic, and he worked in this advertising agency. I remember I said something about it to somebody. Maybe it was on Snapchat, or I posted a Snapchat story when it happened or something like that. Really cool dude who gave me his business card, and I never contacted him because I was like, well, maybe next time I go out to California. Also, that reminds me, the guy who did the music for Space Jam, is that it? What the hell is his name? Kurt something? There's some guy, he did something for Space Jam. He won some award for it, or he was nominated for an award for it. I swear to God, I think his name was Kurt something. he told me that he could get me a meeting set up with Sony to talk about like, or what was it, a Warner Brothers or Sony. He was like, if you had like a mixtape rap audition or something, I was like, oh shit. And this dude's like, of all the things to talk about, you know what I mean? So, it never happened because I was like, oh, I'm like, no, that's not what I want. That's not really the path. I mean, I like making music, but I'm like, I don't really see that going on. Having to sign to a contract where you're like, who knows what they're going to do with me, though. They might make me dress up in skirts or something and try to sell some weird sort of thing. You never know, man. These companies, these labels, so I didn't end up doing that, but but that guy too, Kurt, whatever his name is, he had approached me and said that he could set me up with a meeting for Warner Brothers. Maybe I still have his business card somewhere around here too. Maybe someday, maybe one of these days. But also, I remember last year, it was pretty much right before all the shit hit the fan, and I know this guy doesn't follow me on Twitter anymore anyways, which, I don't know. There's some guys who used to follow me, like, a year ago, but I guess apparently, like, in the last year since I came out, and, I was doing, like, the pro-Donald Trump stuff, and I guess maybe I said a couple things that were considered insensitive or whatever. I'm not hating on anybody, but they basically told me, they were like, oh, Eggman, and I don't know if this is what this guy was on. I'm not trying to say bad things about anybody, you know what I mean? I don't know, this is just speculation on my part. But I had some people who kind of came out and they were like, I'm not interested in what you do anymore because I'm kind of a little bit taken aback by you seem to be kind of a abrasive person with these politics. And okay, and I understand that, you know what I mean? I'm not always trying to be a super political person, but I talk about stuff that affects my life and all that. But last year there was a couple dudes and a chick that were going to school, college near where my apartment was at. This was right before all the kind of the shit hit the fan and I was losing my apartment and all that stuff. And so we hung out. I think the picture's actually still on Twitter somewhere, maybe. But we basically just went around, drove around, and shot the shit. And they're like, oh, dude, man, super cool, man. So good to see you. And it was cool. I mean, I had a lot of fun. I don't think I've ever hung out with anybody who I've met as Eggman that I've not, had a pleasant experience with, because I don't try and go and meet somebody and kind of, I like to make it a pleasant experience. I don't like to try and be super awkward. I mean, if you're knowing me and you're meeting me, you're probably maybe a little bit of an awkward person yourself, so we're all kind of awkward together, it works out. And then also there was, I got some flack for this, back in July, I think it was. I met up with a guy who I had known, or who I became familiar with through being Eggman, and he was going to a rave, and he's like, man, you want to go to this rave? And I had been to raves, so to speak, you know what I mean? I've been to raves, but like, not real raves, they were kind of like, like watered down, kind of like raves by name, but not really. But he was like, yeah, man, let's go to this rave, and I'm like, fuck it, dude, let's do it. So I went in, I got my ticket, and I showed up, I pulled up to his spot, and him and a couple other dudes, we drove to this place, to the rave, and let's just say I popped a molly, I was sweating, I was going hammer, I was going crazy. I did start another dance circle. It was a harder difficulty level of people to start a dance circle amongst, because these people came there to really get down, but I did it, and I'm proud to say that. But I also found out that, hey, you know what, Molly, I'm not a drug guy, I don't really do drugs, but hey, Molly is okay by me. I was falling in love with everybody I saw. I was talking even more fast and incomprehensible than usual. I just had energy for hours. I was feeling good, and it was a good time. And let's see here, was there any other big meetups that I've done? There's been, there was one meetup with a chick that I don't really want to talk about quite yet, because that was sort of a shit show that could probably deserve its own episode. Was there any other big meetups? Well, I guess other than there was a couple other people who were familiar with my channel that I met up with last month, when I broke my foot, when we were all hanging out together and I got really drunk and broke my foot. They were really cool and really chill, so that was nice. But yeah, I guess at this point, I don't think that I've ever been noticed by anybody in public in a negative way, or if they have noticed me, because I know there's people who have noticed me that have then posted about me on 4chan, supposedly, and were either neutral or maybe not positive, but anybody who I've talked to and met up with it's definitely been a positive thing, and I do look forward to meeting more people in the future, absolutely, and hopefully everything continues to be positive. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but hey, if you're a chill person and I happen to just pop up in your neck of the woods sometime, hey man, you know what? Let's grab a beer. Or if you're, some people don't like beer, they think it has estrogenic properties. Let's do a shot of whiskey and shoot the shit, my dudes. I'm always down to meet my people. My eggheads, my muchachos, my buddies, my pals. But with that, my friends, I do believe that will conclude today's episode of Egg Wars. That was kind of some rehashed content, so I apologize. I know I've told those stories, I'm pretty sure, even in Egg Wars before, but I just see my boy Review Bro talking about it, and it stirred my memories and the positive memories that I've had of meeting with people. So, stay golden, my friends, everybody who I've met up with. If you're still out there and you haven't talked to me for a while, if you're still watching me, much love to you. And, for all the people who I'll hopefully get a chance to shake hands with in the future and shoot the shit with in the future, I'll see you when I see you, buddy. Alright, but until next time, my friends, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Egg Wars. We'll catch you next time. Peace out.
Sounds from the void.